In a sealed tank in Seattle, sharks kept vanishing overnight. No blood, no way out. Just one soft creature in the corner watching. You think a shark rules the ocean. The truth is stranger. We're about to meet an animal with 3 hearts, blue blood, and arms that taste what they touch. It can vanish in a blink and drown a shark with a hug. If the deep ocean thrills you, tap like and subscribe. Hold your breath. We begin. The Seattle aquarium had a problem nobody could explain. Inside one big tank lived several small sharks called spiny dogfish. Each one stretched about 3 feet long, lean and fast, the kind of hunter these cold waters have known for ages. They shared that water with one quiet neighbour folded into the rocks, a giant Pacific octopus. Then the sharks started to disappear. Keepers would count them one morning and come up short the next. At first they figured a dogfish had died and slipped somewhere out of view, so they searched the tank top to bottom. What they found made no sense. The missing sharks were turning up on the gravel floor, torn open, with pieces gone from their sides. Something in that water was hunting them, something strong enough to break a shark apart. Think about how backwards that is. A shark is supposed to be the one doing the eating. It carries rows of teeth that grow back when they snap off. It wears a body shaped like a missile. It can smell a single drop of blood drifting through huge amounts of water. Out in the open ocean, a small octopus is usually the snack, not the threat. Dogfish sharks eat octopuses all the time. So who was flipping the rules? The keepers looked around the tank for a culprit. There were no other sharks big enough, no moray eels, no hidden trapdoor where a predator could sneak in at night. The only animal large enough to do this damage was the soft, boneless creature most people walked past without a second glance. The octopus had no teeth like a shark. It had no claws. It had no bones at all. On paper, it should have been losing this fight, badly. That is what made the whole thing feel impossible. The staff did not want to guess. They wanted to see it with their own eyes. So they did the one thing that turns a rumour into a fact. They mounted a camera above the tank and let it record through the night, when the building emptied out and the water went black and still. For hours, the footage showed almost nothing. A few dogfish gliding in slow circles. The octopus tucked into its corner, breathing, a shapeless blob of muscle that barely moved. You could watch it and swear that nothing in that frame could harm a shark. Then a dogfish drifted a little too close to the rocks. The water exploded. 8 arms shot out of the dark all at once and wrapped around the shark before it could turn. The dogfish thrashed. It twisted its whole body, fighting to break free, and the soft creature simply held on, calm, patient, doing something the camera could barely make sense of in those first wild seconds. What that octopus did next would rewrite everything people thought they knew about who really rules the reef. The camera caught the moment the mystery ended. The quiet octopus was the killer. It had been hunting the sharks all along, every single night while the building slept. Watch the footage and the shock hits fast. The dogfish never saw it coming. The octopus did not chase it down across the tank like a shark would. It waited. It let the shark swim into range, then ambushed it in a heartbeat, faster than your eye can follow. 1 second the corner was empty. The next, the shark was wrapped in a knot of arms. Here is the part that stuns people. The octopus weighed around 40 to 50 pounds. The sharks were nearly as long as a kitchen counter. By size, this should have been a close fight, maybe a losing one for the octopus. Yet the shark lost almost instantly. The octopus pinned it, held it, and did not let go. Scientists who later studied scenes like this figured out the grim trick behind it. A shark breathes by pushing water over its gills. Stop that water, and the shark starts to drown, even while it is still alive and fighting. The octopus did not need to bite through bone or slash with claws. It only had to grab on and refuse to release. Time did the rest. That is a cold, simple kind of power. No speed chase, no flashing teeth. Just a soft body that grabs, clamps, and waits the shark out like a slow clock running down. The aquarium made a quick decision once they watched the tape. They moved the remaining sharks to a different tank far away from the corner. The octopus had won its territory completely. A creature with no skeleton had cleared a shark out of its home. Now, the honest part. Years later, the people who filmed one famous version of this scene admitted divers had nudged the dogfish toward the octopus to capture it on camera. The chase was helped along, so the footage was a little staged. That detail matters, because the truth deserves to be told straight. But the bigger fact stands solid. Octopuses really do eat sharks. The pieces of dogfish kept showing up in that tank long before any camera arrived. This was happening on its own, in the dark, with no human hand involved. And it was not only a tank trick. Out in the wild ocean, divers and scientists have searched the rocky dens where giant Pacific octopuses live. Scattered around those dens like bones outside a lion's cave, they found the leftover remains of dogfish sharks. The octopus had dragged its kills home to eat in private. That is real evidence, gathered far from any aquarium, that this animal hunts sharks for food. So the soft creature in the corner was no freak accident. It was doing what its kind has done for a very long time. Which leaves the strangest question of all. How can an animal with no bones, no teeth and no claws overpower a predator built for killing? What hidden weapons is it carrying inside that shapeless body? The answer starts with its arms, and those arms are far deadlier than they look. Picture the two animals side by side and the fight looks settled before it starts. A shark is a machine for hunting. Hard cartilage holds its body in a sleek shape. Muscle drives it forward like a torpedo. Its mouth is a wall of teeth that replace themselves over and over. It can feel the tiny electric buzz of a heartbeat hiding in the sand. Everything about it says, winner. An octopus looks like the opposite of all that. It has no bones. Squeeze it and it folds like wet cloth. It has no protective shell, no spines, no armor. It cannot bite with rows of teeth. It cannot swim nearly as fast as a shark over a long chase. By every rule we use to judge a predator, it should lose. So why does the shark fear it? Because the octopus plays a completely different game. It does not try to beat a shark at the shark's own strengths. It rewrites what the contest even is. Speed and teeth matter in a fair chase. The octopus refuses to give the shark a fair chase. Think of it like two fighters. One is huge and fast and throws heavy punches. The other is small and quiet and never throws a punch at all. Instead, the quiet one waits in the shadows, grabs the big fighter from behind, wraps around the arms and the throat, and simply holds on until the bigger one runs out of air. Strength stops mattering when you cannot breathe. That is the octopus way. Patience over power, surprise over speed, a trap instead of a duel. And the trap is built from a body that breaks almost every rule of how an animal is supposed to work. Most creatures we know, including you, run on one heart and one brain inside a frame of bones. The octopus throws that whole design in the trash. It carries 3 hearts. Its blood runs blue. Its thinking is spread out across its arms instead of locked in its head. Each of those arms can taste, feel, and move on its own. Scientists who study octopuses often say the same thing. If you wanted to design a creature from another planet, you would end up with something close to this. It is the most alien animal we have on Earth, and it grew up right here in our own oceans. That strangeness is exactly why it is so dangerous. A shark knows how to fight other fish. It knows how to fight seals and squid. It has no instinct for fighting something that thinks with its arms, vanishes in front of its eyes, and pours through cracks like water. The octopus is a problem the shark's brain was never built to solve. Over millions of years, the octopus traded armor and teeth for something rarer: brains, flexibility, tricks. And as we are about to see, those tricks turn its softness into the deadliest weapon in the water. It starts with the arms. Most people think they are just bendy, sticky limbs for grabbing food. They are far closer to a forest of separate hunters, each one armed, each one tasting the world, each one able to crush a shark's chance of escape. Reach out and grab something. Your hand has one grip. An octopus arm has hundreds. Run your eye down a single octopus arm and you will see two neat rows of suckers like buttons stitched along the underside. A giant Pacific octopus carries somewhere between 100 and 280 suckers on each arm. Add up all 8 arms and the number climbs past 1,500, and on a big animal it can reach close to 2,000. 2,000 grippers working at once. Now think about how strong each one is. A sucker is a tiny muscle cup. To stick, it presses flat against a surface and forces the water out from underneath, then locks the rim tight. It works like pressing a suction hook onto a bathroom mirror, except this hook is alive and it can twist, pull and tighten on command. One sucker alone is weak, but the octopus does not use one. It uses 1,000, all clamping at the same moment, spread across the whole body of its prey. The pulling power is wild. Scientists found that octopus suckers can grip so hard they actually rip the water apart, making tiny vapor bubbles from the force. Even a small octopus can pry open the shell of a clam that is glued shut and fighting back. So imagine that same grip locked onto the slick skin of a shark. Here is why the shark cannot win that hold. A shark's whole escape plan is to twist its body and power away with one hard burst. But you cannot burst free from 1,500 separate grips at once. Pull one sucker loose and 100 more are still locked down. It is like trying to run while 1,000 hands hold every inch of you. The harder the shark fights, the more it tires, and a tired shark is a dying shark when it cannot keep water moving over its gills. The suckers do more than grab. Each one is covered in sensors that can taste. We will come back to that strange power later, because it changes the whole story. For now, what matters is the grip, and the grip is close to inescapable. There is one more trick hiding here. An octopus does not grab with brute clumsiness. It can use a few suckers to gently pick up a single grain of sand, or throw every sucker into a full body lock to pin something huge. The same arm can be delicate enough to thread a needle, and strong enough to anchor against a fighting shark. Few animals on Earth own that kind of range in a single limb, and the octopus has 8 of them. While 2 arms hold the shark's tail, 2 more can pin its head, and the rest can wrap the middle. The shark gets surrounded from every angle at once by a creature that seems to be made of arms. A scientist who filmed these animals put it simply: as a human, you are never going to win an arms race against an octopus. The same goes for a shark. So the prey is held. It cannot pull free, it cannot escape. The grip alone, though, does not finish the job. To understand how the shark actually dies, we have to follow those arms to the one place on a shark that means life or death. Its gills. A shark cannot hold its breath. That single fact is the octopus's deadliest weapon. You can stop breathing for a minute and feel fine. A shark cannot. Many sharks must keep water flowing across their gills to pull oxygen out of it. The water moves, the gills catch the oxygen, the shark lives. Stop that flow and the shark begins to suffocate, even with its mouth wide open in clean seawater. The ocean is full of air the shark suddenly cannot reach. The octopus turns that weakness into a kill. Once those 1,500 suckers lock on, the octopus pulls the shark in close and clamps its arms over the gill area, the soft slits along the side of the head. Now the shark cannot pump water through. It is drowning while completely surrounded by the sea. The octopus does not need to crush it or bite through it. It only needs to hold the gills shut and wait. This is why the fight ends so fast in those tank videos. The shark thrashes hard at first, twisting and rolling, spending all its strength in the opening seconds. The octopus stays calm and simply rides it out, the way a wrestler smothers a stronger opponent by controlling their breathing instead of trading blows. Within a short time, the thrashing slows, then it stops. Think of it as the most patient kill in the ocean. No chase, no blood cloud, no flashing teeth. Just a slow, quiet squeeze and the steady pressure of time. People who have watched it describe a strange, almost gentle horror. The shark looks like it is being held, not tacked, right up until the moment it goes still. Scientists studying these encounters point to the gills again and again as the key. Cut off the water flow and even a healthy, full-grown small shark loses. Size barely matters. A shark twice the octopus's weight can still be beaten this way, because the contest is no longer about muscle, it is about air, and the octopus has a backup plan layered on top. Its bite carries venom, and its arms carry that crushing grip, so even a shark that somehow loosens one hold is still in deep trouble. The octopus rarely needs to use everything at once. The hug usually does the job alone. There is a haunting detail in how this plays out in the wild. Remember those octopus dens scattered with dogfish remains? The sharks did not die in some random struggle out in open water. They were caught, smothered, and carried back to be eaten in the safety of the den. This is not a lucky accident that happens once. It is a hunting habit, repeated, learned, and done in the dark where almost no one sees it. So the boneless animal kills the armoured hunter using the one thing the hunter cannot live without: breath. It is a strategy no teeth could match. But the octopus is not unarmed beyond the squeeze. Hidden under all that soft muscle is a single hard tool, the only solid part of its entire body. It is small, it is sharp, and it can punch through a shell, a crab, and even tough shark skin. It sits right in the centre of the arms, waiting like a hidden blade. Run your hands over an octopus, and you will not feel a single bone. There is only one hard part on the whole animal, and it is hidden where the 8 arms meet. It is called a beak. It looks almost exactly like the beak of a parrot, curved, pointed, and tough. While the rest of the octopus is soft enough to squeeze through a crack, this one tool stays hard and sharp. It is the octopus's knife, its can opener, and its drill, all in one small package tucked underneath the body. Here is why that beak is such a clever weapon. The octopus eats animals that wear armour, crabs in hard shells, clams locked shut, scallops, snails, lobsters. To a soft predator, those should be impossible meals. The beak solves that. It can crunch straight through a crab shell like you biting through a hard pretzel. Whatever the ocean builds for defence, the beak finds a way in. Now point that tool at a shark. Shark skin is famously tough. Up close it feels like sandpaper, covered in tiny hard scales that can scrape your hand raw. Most predators cannot easily bite through it. The octopus beak can score and tear into it when needed, opening the prey once the suckers have it pinned. The grip holds the shark still. The beak does the cutting. Together they finish what the hug began. But the beak hides an even nastier secret. It is the delivery point for something you cannot see. Behind that beak, the octopus makes spit that is loaded with chemicals. Some of those chemicals soften flesh, others act as venom. When the octopus bites, it can push this mix into the wound, where it goes to work breaking the prey down from the inside and stunning it so it stops fighting. The beak is the needle. The venom is the dose. There is one more trick. Tucked near the beak is a tiny rough tool that works like a living drill, lined with rows of tiny teeth. The octopus can use it to bore a small, neat hole straight through a hard shell. Then it slips its softening spit through the hole, waits, and the meal practically opens itself. Imagine a thief who does not smash the safe. He quietly drills one small hole, drops in a tool, and the door swings open on its own. That is the octopus, calm and precise, even while killing. Scientists confirm that octopuses do not fight fair the way a clean predator might. There are no rules about no biting and no puncturing. The beak digs in wherever it helps. A shark, built to slash and chase, has no answer for an enemy that grabs, smothers, drills and poisons all at the same time. So the soft creature carries a hidden blade after all. One hard point in a sea of softness, sharp enough to crack the toughest armour the ocean makes. And that venom we just mentioned? It is not a small side weapon. Every single octopus on Earth carries venom in its body. Most of it is mild, just strong enough to handle a crab. But one cousin of the giant octopus carries a poison so powerful it can kill a grown man in minutes from a body smaller than a golf ball. That tiny relative is up next, and it proves just how dangerous this whole family really is. Here is a fact that surprises almost everyone. There is no such thing as a harmless octopus. Every single one is venomous. Scientists confirmed this long ago. From the giant in the cold Pacific to the small ones hiding in tide pools, they all make venom. It lives in their spit and flows out through that hidden beak when they bite. For most octopuses, the venom is mild by our standards. It is just strong enough to stun a crab or a clam so the meal stops struggling. To you, a bite from most octopuses would sting and swell, nothing worse. But the venom is the point. It explains how a slow, soft animal hunts so well. The octopus does not only grab its prey, it drugs it. The bite delivers chemicals that jam up the prey's body, freezing its muscles so it cannot run, cannot snap shut, cannot fight back. The crab is wrapped, bitten, and quietly switched off from the inside. Now scale that idea up to a shark. The venom is one more layer in the trap. The suckers hold, the arms cover the gills, and if the beak gets a bite in, the venom helps tip a struggling shark towards stillness even faster. Each weapon alone might not be enough. Stacked together, they overwhelm a predator that has no defense against any of them. What makes this truly chilling is how the venom works at the chemical level. The strongest octopus poisons block the signals that travel through nerves. Your brain talks to your body using tiny electric messages. The venom slams those message lines shut. The brain can scream move or breathe, and the body never gets the order. The animal stays awake while its own body refuses to obey. Slowly, breathing itself can stop. That is a quiet, invisible kind of weapon, and it runs in the whole family. Most people never feel any of this, because octopuses almost never want to bite a human. They are shy. They would rather hide or flee than pick a fight with something as huge as a person. Bites are rare, and from the big species they usually happen only when the animal feels cornered or curious. Even then, a giant Pacific octopus will often grip a diver out of plain curiosity, feel them over with its suckers, and let go without harm. So the giant is not the one to fear with your life. Its venom is built for crabs and fish and the occasional shark, not for you. The real danger in this family comes in a much smaller package, and that is what makes it so frightening. There is a cousin of the giant octopus that could sit in the palm of your hand. It is small, shy, and almost cute, with a pattern of glowing rings across its skin. People have picked one up without knowing what it was. That mistake has nearly cost lives. This little creature carries enough poison to kill more than one grown adult, and there is no easy cure once it strikes. If a soft, fist-sized animal can hold that much death inside it, you start to understand why the whole family deserves respect. Meet the tiny killer with the glowing blue warning lights. It proves the octopus's poison is no small thing. Some of the deadliest animals in the sea are also the smallest. This one could hide under a teacup. It is called the blue-ringed octopus, and it lives in the warm waters of the Pacific, often in shallow pools right where people wade. Stretch it out and it is only a few inches across, lighter than an apple, small enough to curl up inside your closed hand. It looks soft and harmless. Children have scooped them out of tide pools thinking they found a cute little pet. That is the most dangerous mistake on this list. The blue-ringed octopus carries one of the most powerful poisons in the entire animal kingdom. A single tiny one holds enough venom to kill more than 10 grown adults. Read that again. A creature smaller than a golf ball can drop a whole room of people, and it does it with a bite so small you might not even feel it happen. The venom is the same nerve-blocking type we just met, but turned up to a terrifying level. After a bite, the poison shuts down the body's nerve signals one by one. The victim often stays fully awake and aware while their muscles stop working. First the body goes weak, then it gets hard to move. Then, in the worst cases, the muscles that pull air into the lungs simply quit. The person cannot breathe on their own, even though their mind is still clear and screaming inside. There is no anti-venom that fixes it. None. The only thing that saves a victim is a hospital machine breathing for them, hour after hour, until the poison finally wears off and the nerves wake back up. People have survived this way, kept alive by a machine while doctors waited out the venom. Many were lucky someone was nearby to help in time. Now here is the part that should stop you cold. The blue-ringed octopus warns you before it bites. When it feels threatened, those dull rings on its skin suddenly light up in glowing electric blue. It is a flashing sign that means stay away. Yet in the water, against bright sand and coral, those little rings can look almost beautiful. Beautiful enough to reach for. That beauty has fooled people into picking up their own killer. This tiny animal matters to our story for one big reason. It proves what the whole octopus family is capable of. The giant Pacific octopus uses grip and gills and patience. Its little cousin shows the raw chemical power hidden in the same bloodline. Both are octopuses. Both are venomous. One drowns sharks with a hug. The other could kill a shark, or a person, with a single pinprick bite. That is the range of this family. From gentle giants to pocket-sized killers, they share the same alien blueprint, the same hidden beak, the same poison in the spit. When you understand that, the fear sharks starts to make sense. They are not facing one trick, they are facing a whole toolkit of them. So far we have looked at the weapons, the grip, the gills, the beak, the venom, but none of that explains the most jaw-dropping part of the giant Pacific octopus, its size. Stretch this animal out and it can spread wider than a small car. Wait until you see how big the biggest ones really get. Most octopuses are small enough to hold. This one can wrap around a grown person. The giant Pacific octopus is the largest octopus on the planet. A common adult tips the scale around 30 to 50 pounds, about the weight of a medium dog, but the big ones go far beyond that. The heaviest reliable giants have reached well over 100 pounds. Stretch out their arms and the span can reach more than 14 feet from tip to tip, wider than a small car parked in a driveway. Picture that for a second. You are a diver, hovering in cold green water. Out of a crack in the rocks, an arm unfolds toward you. Then another, until the shape filling the space in front of you is wider than you are tall, a living web of muscle that can reach every direction at once. There is a reason old sailors told stories of sea monsters that pulled ships under. They were looking at animals like this, only bigger in their fears. Size changes the whole hunting game. A small octopus can take a crab or a small fish. A giant can take much larger prey. We already know it kills sharks. It also eats other octopuses, big crabs, fish, and on rare days it has even pulled seabirds down from the surface and drowned them. Almost anything its size or smaller is on the menu. Now think about a fight between this giant and a dogfish shark. The shark might be 3 or 4 feet long. The octopus with arms spread wide can simply be bigger than the shark, reaching all the way around it with room to spare. The grip we talked about earlier covers far more of the shark when the arms are that long. There is nowhere on the shark's body the suckers cannot reach, and the giant carries all its other weapons at this larger scale too. A bigger beak, a stronger pull, more suckers, each one able to lift real weight. Scientists describe these animals as strong enough to move rocks, pry open heavy lids, and drag prey that fights back with everything it has. Yet the size hides a strange softness. Even a giant this wide can pour its body through a shockingly small space. There are no bones to stop it. We will get to that trick soon, and it is one of the most unbelievable things any animal can do. Here is something else that surprises people. For all that size, these giants do not live long. The biggest octopus in the world grows from a creature smaller than a grain of rice to a car-wide hunter in just a few short years. It packs an entire monstrous life into a tiny window of time. That speed of growth is part of what makes it so remarkable and so doomed. But that sad twist comes later in our story. For now, hold on to this image. A boneless animal, wider than a car, smarter than any shark, hunting in the cold and the dark where the sun never reaches. Big enough to wrap a shark completely, strong enough to hold it down. But raw size and strength are the easy part to understand. The truly frightening thing about this animal is that you often cannot even see it coming. It can erase itself from the water in less time than it takes you to blink. Imagine an enemy that disappears right in front of your eyes. Sharks face that enemy every day. The octopus is the greatest master of disguise in the ocean, maybe on Earth. It can change the colour of its entire body in under 1/10 of a second. That is faster than you can snap your fingers. One moment it is a pale tan blob on the sand. Blink, and it is the exact grey and brown of the rock beside it. Blink again, and you have lost it completely. How does a soft animal pull off magic like this? Its skin is packed with tiny colour sacs, hundreds of thousands of them, spread across its body like tiny dots of paint. Each sac holds a bit of colour inside a stretchy bag. When the octopus squeezes a sac, the colour spreads out wide and bright. When it relaxes, the colour shrinks back to a tiny dot and vanishes. Think of each one as a tiny water balloon full of dye. Squeeze it and the colour blooms. Let go and it disappears. Now here is the wild part. The octopus controls each of those colour dots almost separately, using its nervous system, the same way you control your fingers. Hundreds of thousands of living pixels all firing at once, painting a picture across its skin to match whatever sits around it. It is like a screen that can show any image instantly, except the screen is alive and it wraps around a hunter's whole body. This is the secret behind the ambush we saw in the very first tank. The octopus does not chase the shark. It hides in plain sight, painted to look like rock and shadow, and waits for the shark to swim too close. The shark sees nothing but reef. Then the reef comes alive and grabs it. By the time the shark understands what is happening, the suckers are already locked on. Camouflage protects the octopus as much as it helps it hunt. Out in the open, a soft octopus is a perfect meal for a big shark. It has no shell to hide in and no spines to fight with, so it hides the only way it can, by becoming invisible. Scientists who study this say it is the octopus's single best defense. When you cannot run fast and cannot fight hard, the smartest move is to make sure nobody ever finds you. There is something almost eerie about it. The octopus is colourblind. It cannot see colour the way you do, yet it copies the colours around it almost perfectly. Scientists are still working out exactly how it does this. It may sense light through its skin in ways we're only beginning to understand. That mystery is still open, and it is one of the strangest puzzles in all of biology. So the shark is up against an animal it often cannot even see. An animal that can sit 1 foot away looking exactly like a stone. In a world where finding prey is half the battle, the octopus simply opts out of being found. And changing colour is only half of its disappearing act. Colour makes it match the reef, but a flat painting still looks flat up close. To truly become a rock, the octopus does something even more incredible. It changes the shape and texture of its skin, growing bumps and spikes out of a body that has no bones at all. A painting of a rock can fool you from far away. Up close it looks flat and fake. The octopus solves that problem in a way no other large animal can. It does not only change colour, it changes the texture of its own skin. In a moment, a smooth octopus can push up bumps, ridges and pointy spikes all over its body, turning a soft, slick surface into something that looks rough and rocky and real. Now it does not just look the colour of coral, it looks like coral, lumps, shadows, and all. These living bumps have a job. When light hits a real rock, it catches on every bump and dent, making little shadows. A flat object has no shadows, so it looks wrong, like a sticker on a wall. By raising its own bumps, the octopus makes its body catch light the same way the reef does. The shadows line up. The disguise holds even from inches away. Think about how impossible that is for an animal with no bones. You cannot grow a spike out of your arm and pull it back in a few seconds later. The octopus can do it across its whole body, again and again, controlling the texture like you might flex a muscle. Smooth for open sand, bumpy for rock, frilly for seaweed. It reads its surroundings and reshapes its own skin to vanish into them. Stack this on top of the colour trick and the result is total. The octopus matches the colour, the pattern and the texture of whatever it sits on. A shark could swim right over it. Its senses sharp, its eyes open, and never know a hunter was lying inches below its belly. The reef has eyes, and the shark has no idea. Scientists are so amazed by this skin that they're trying to copy it. Teams in labs have built stretchy fake skins inspired by the octopus, hoping to make materials that can change texture or hide from heat-sensing cameras. The dream is clothing or coatings that vanish the way an octopus does. So far, nothing humans have built comes close to the real thing. A living octopus still beats our best machines at hiding. There is a deeper lesson hiding in all this. The octopus shows that the best weapon is not always a bigger tooth or a faster fin. Sometimes it is information. The octopus controls what the shark knows. It decides whether the shark sees a snack or sees an empty rock. By owning that one advantage, surprise, it cancels out the shark's size and speed before the fight even begins, and the disguises go beyond just blending in. Some octopuses take the trick to a level that sounds made up. One special cousin does not only hide as a rock, it pretends to be other animals entirely, copying their shapes, their movements, and even the creatures a shark is afraid of. It can turn itself into the very thing that scares its enemies away. That shape-shifting trickster is next, and it might be the strangest performer in the entire sea. Most animals can hide. One octopus can lie about what it even is. It is called the mimic octopus, and it lives in the warm, sandy waters of Southeast Asia. Where most octopuses copy rocks and coral, this one copies living creatures. It can change its colour, its pattern, its shape, and the way it moves, all to imitate other animals swimming in the sea. Scientists think it can impersonate around a dozen different species, choosing whichever one fits the moment. Watch it, and you will not believe your eyes. When it wants to cross open sand without being eaten, it flattens its body, pulls its arms behind it, and glides along the bottom, looking exactly like a flat, wide fish that many predators avoid. Moments later, it can tuck most of its arms away, stick two out stiff in opposite directions, and become a striped sea snake, an animal many fish are terrified of. It even copies the snake's slow, weaving movement. Here is the genius of it. The mimic does not pick a costume at random. It seems to choose the disguise that scares whatever is bothering it right then. In one famous case, a small fish was harassing a mimic octopus. So the octopus turned into a banded sea snake, which happens to be a predator that hunts that exact kind of fish. The bully suddenly found itself face to face with its own nightmare and fled. The octopus solved the problem by becoming the thing its enemy feared most. That is not just hiding. That is acting with a purpose matched to the audience. The octopus appears to understand who is watching and what that watcher is afraid of. For an animal with no bones and a short life, that is a stunning level of cleverness. Now connect this back to sharks. A shark has its own fears. It avoids certain venomous animals, certain predators, certain things that have hurt its kind before. An octopus that can copy those shapes holds a powerful card. It can turn itself into a warning sign, a do not touch flag written in the language sharks already understand. Whether by looking poisonous, looking dangerous, or looking like something worse, the octopus can talk a predator out of attacking before a single sucker touches it. This is mind games at the deepest level. The octopus does not only control what the shark sees, it controls what the shark feels. It can make a hunter feel fear, hesitation, doubt, and a shark that hesitates has already lost the surprise it needed. Scientists are still amazed by how the mimic chooses its disguises so well, and there is more to learn about how much thinking goes into each choice. What they do agree on is that this is one of the most advanced copycat tricks in the animal world. No fish can do it. No shark can dream of it. So the octopus family does not only vanish, it deceives, it performs, it reaches into the fears of other animals and uses them like tools. But even the best disguise can fail. Sometimes a predator sees through the trick and lunges anyway. When that happens, the octopus needs a way out, fast, and it has one that defies belief. It can pour its entire body through a hole smaller than its own eye. Watch an octopus escape and your brain refuses to accept what your eyes are seeing. A big octopus, wide as a car when stretched out, can squeeze its whole body through a gap not much bigger than a coin. It flattens, twists, and pours itself through the crack like thick liquid, then snaps back to full size on the other side. 1 second it is a large animal. The next it is a stream of muscle threading through a slot you would swear was far too small. Then it is a large animal again. How is that even possible? The answer is the same thing that makes the octopus seem weak. It has no bones, nothing rigid. The only hard part on its entire body is that small beak hidden among the arms. So the rule for an octopus is simple. If the beak fits, the whole animal fits. Everything else is soft enough to fold, stretch, and squeeze through behind it. Scientists have measured this. A heavy octopus weighing over 100 pounds can pour itself through an opening only a couple of inches wide. Imagine watching a large dog squeeze through the gap under a door. That is the level of impossible we're talking about, except the octopus does it smoothly, calmly, like water finding a drain. Now think about what this means in a fight with a shark. A shark is built of stiff cartilage and a fixed shape. It cannot fold. It cannot fit through a crack. So when an octopus decides the fight is over, it simply leaks into a hole in the rocks that the shark could never follow. The shark is left circling outside a crack, staring at an enemy it cannot reach, like a cat watching a mouse vanish into a wall. This escape power flips the danger completely. Out in the open, the shark holds every advantage. But the reef is full of cracks, holes, and dens, and the octopus knows them all. It chooses to live in a world of tight spaces precisely because nothing bigger can follow it there. Its home is a fortress that only it can enter. There is a famous story that shows how far this goes. At an aquarium in New Zealand, an octopus named Inky figured out his tank had a small gap at the top. One night he climbed out, slithered across the floor, found a narrow drain pipe that led to the sea, squeezed his whole body down it, and escaped into the ocean. Staff arrived in the morning to find an empty tank and a wet trail leading to freedom. Inky used the same trick that saves him from sharks to break out of a building. That story is true, and it tells you something important. The octopus does not only squeeze through cracks by instinct. It studies its world, finds the weak point, and plans the escape. The flexibility is the body. The decision to use it is the mind. So the shark faces an enemy that can fight it, hide from it, trick it, and then melt through a wall to safety whenever it chooses. There is almost no way to corner an animal like that. But squeezing away is the calm exit. When an octopus needs to disappear in a hurry, in open water with a shark closing in fast, it has a faster trick. It can throw down a smoke bomb and blind its enemy in a single dark cloud. When the octopus needs to vanish in open water with no rock to hide in, it makes its own escape door out of darkness. It fires a cloud of ink. In a sudden burst, the octopus shoots out a thick blast of dark liquid that hangs in the water like black smoke. To the shark closing in, the world goes dark in an instant. Its target disappears behind a wall of inky fog. By the time the cloud thins out, the octopus is long gone, blasted away in the opposite direction. This is the octopus's emergency exit, and it is built into its body. Inside the octopus is a special sac filled with dark ink. When danger gets too close and hiding will not work, the animal squeezes that sac and launches the ink straight at the threat, then jets away while the predator is blinded. It is a smoke bomb fired by a living creature, and it works on hunters as fierce as sharks. But the ink is far more than a curtain of darkness. Scientists discovered it is also a chemical weapon. The ink contains a substance that can irritate and sting a predator's eyes. Worse for the shark, the ink scrambles its sense of smell. Sharks rely heavily on smell to track prey, sniffing out tiny traces in the water from far away. the octopus ink jams that super sense, leaving the shark not only blind in the cloud, but unable to smell where its meal went. Two of the shark's best hunting tools shut down at once. There is an even sneakier version of this trick. Sometimes the octopus does not fire a wide cloud. It releases a tight little blob of ink about the size and shape of its own body, and then jets away while the predator strikes at the fake. The shark lunges at the dark decoy, bites nothing but a puff of ink, and the real octopus is already escaping. It is a magician's trick. "Look here," the octopus seems to say, while the truth slips out the other side. Picture the whole scene from the shark's point of view. It locks onto a soft, easy meal. It surges forward, jaws ready. Then the water erupts black, its eyes sting, its sense of smell goes haywire, and it bites down on a fake that bursts into nothing. When the cloud finally clears, the sea in front of it is empty. The hunter has been completely fooled by an animal it thought was helpless. Scientists confirm this ink defense works against many ocean predators, not just sharks. It is one of the oldest tricks in the octopus playbook, and one of the most reliable. The octopus carries its own getaway built into its body, ready to fire the moment a fight turns against it. So now we have seen the full picture of the octopus's defenses. It can vanish by colour. It can vanish by shape. It can lie about what it is. It can pour through a crack, and when all else fails, it can throw down a cloud of blinding smoke and jet away. These are not the powers of a simple animal acting on instinct alone. Pulling off the right trick at the right moment takes something more. It takes a strange and powerful body and an even stranger mind. And the octopus body is unlike anything else alive. It starts with the fact that this creature has not one heart, but three. Open up an octopus, and you will find a machine built by a different set of rules. It runs on 3 hearts, not one. You have a single heart, beating in your chest, pushing blood to every corner of your body. The octopus splits the job 3 ways. 2 of its hearts have one task only. They pump blood through the gills, where it picks up oxygen from the water. The third, larger heart then takes that fresh blood and drives it out to the rest of the body, to the arms, the brain, and the hungry muscles. Why go to all that trouble? It comes down to the octopus's strange blood, which we will get to next. For now, know that its blood is not very good at carrying oxygen compared to yours. To make up for that weak blood, the octopus needs extra pumping power. 3 hearts working together push enough oxygen through the body to keep this active hunter alive. It is a clever fix for a built-in problem. But the 3-heart design hides a strange weakness, and it shapes how the octopus lives. When the octopus swims by jetting through open water, its main body heart actually stops beating. That is right. The big heart pauses while the animal swims hard. Swimming tires the octopus out quickly because its heart keeps cutting out under the strain. So the octopus mostly avoids swimming. It prefers to crawl along the bottom, reaching and pulling with its arms, keeping all 3 hearts working steadily. This single fact explains so much about how it hunts. The octopus does not chase a shark across open water in a long race. It cannot. Its own body would give out, its main heart skipping beats with every jet of water. So it does the opposite. It stays low, hides, ambushes, and grabs. The trap and hold style of hunting is not just clever, it fits the strange machine of its body perfectly. The octopus plays to its strengths and hides its weakness. Think about how alien this is. If a person's heart stopped every time they ran, they would learn to walk everywhere and never sprint. The octopus learned the same lesson millions of years ago and built its entire life around it. Patience over speed, crawling over racing, the ambush over the chase. There is something almost beautiful in how the pieces fit. The 3 hearts feed the body. The blood is weak, so the hearts work overtime. The swimming heart stops, so the animal crawls and hides. The hiding makes it a perfect ambush hunter. The ambush is how it catches sharks. Every strange part connects to the next. like gears in a clock that only this animal owns. Scientists who study octopus bodies treat all of this as one big trade-off. The octopus chose a soft, flexible, colour-changing, crack-squeezing body. The price was a clunky oxygen system that needs 3 hearts and forces it to crawl. It paid that price gladly, because the soft body is what makes it the most adaptable hunter in the sea. So the octopus runs on 3 hearts to make up for blood that struggles to carry air. And that blood is strange in another way too, a way you can actually see. It is not red like yours. When an octopus bleeds, the blood that runs out is blue. Cut an octopus, and the blood that flows is not red. It is blue, the colour of a clear sky. Your blood is red because of iron. Deep inside your blood is a substance built around iron that grabs oxygen and carries it through your body. Iron turns red when it holds oxygen, which is why your blood is red and why rust is reddish too. The octopus uses a completely different metal for the same job. Instead of iron, its blood carries oxygen using copper, and copper, when it grabs oxygen, turns blue. So the octopus quite literally has blue blood running through its body, pumped by those 3 hearts we just met. It is not a trick of the light or a figure of speech. The blood is blue. Why copper instead of iron? Because of where the octopus lives. Many octopuses, including the giant Pacific, thrive in cold, deep water where oxygen can be scarce and the chill runs bone deep. It turns out copper-based blood works better than iron-based blood in exactly those cold, low oxygen conditions. In the freezing dark, copper blood squeezes out a survival edge. The octopus traded the metal in its blood to conquer the cold. But this copper blood has a downside, and it ties back to the 3 hearts. Copper blood is not as good at carrying oxygen when the water gets warm. In warmer seas, it struggles. This is part of why octopuses prefer cool water, and why warming oceans are a real threat to them. Their very blood is tuned for the cold. Heat the water up and their oxygen system starts to choke. Here is how all the pieces lock together. The blood uses copper, so it is blue, and it carries oxygen poorly. To make up for the weak blood, the octopus needs 3 hearts pumping hard. To avoid overworking those hearts, it crawls instead of swims. To catch prey without a long chase, it hides and ambushes. The blue blood sits at the root of the whole design, the first domino that makes the octopus the patient, hidden hunter it is. There is a quiet wonder in this. We tend to think there is one right way to build a living body, the way ours is built, with red blood and 1 heart. The octopus proves that wrong. It found a different answer, copper and 3 hearts, and cold water living, and that answer has worked for an incredibly long time. Different does not mean worse. In the cold deep, the octopus's strange blueprint beats ours easily. Scientists studying octopus blood describe it as a high-tech soft body, running on an old slow fuel system. The body is amazing. The blood is the bottleneck. Yet from that bottleneck came the patient hunting style that lets a boneless animal kill sharks. The weakness shaped the weapon. So the octopus has 3 hearts, blue blood, and a body that crawls through the cold dark on copper-powered muscle. Already it is one of the strangest animals alive. But we have not even reached the strangest part yet. Because the truly mind-bending thing about an octopus is not its hearts or its blood. It is the way it thinks. This animal does not keep its brain in one place. It spreads its mind across its body, and most of its thinking happens out in its arms. You keep your brain in your head. The octopus keeps most of its mind in its arms. An octopus has about 500 million nerve cells, which is roughly as many as a dog. That alone makes it a serious thinker for an animal with no bones. But here is the shocking part. Around 2 out of every 3 of those nerve cells do not sit in its head at all. They run down its 8 arms. The thinking is spread out across the whole body. Scientists describe this with a wild shorthand. They say the octopus has 9 brains, 1 central brain in the head, wrapped in a ring around the throat, plus a powerful bundle of nerves running through each of the 8 arms. Add them up and you get 9 thinking centers in one animal. The phrase is a bit playful, but the idea behind it is real. The arms are loaded with so much brain power that each one can sense, decide, and act largely on its own. Picture what that means. While the central brain in the head focuses on the big picture, find food, watch for danger, hide, each arm can handle its own little jobs at the same time. One arm can be feeling inside a crack for a crab, while another arm tastes a rock, and a third arm anchors the body in place. The octopus is doing many things at once, with different parts of its mind, like a team where every member can think for themselves. This is nothing like how your body works. Your hand cannot solve a problem without your brain telling it what to do. An octopus arm can. It has enough local thinking power to react to what it touches without checking in with headquarters first. The central brain points the way, give the order, find the food, hide, and trust the arms to figure out the details on their own. Now connect this to the hunt. When an octopus wraps a shark, it is not running everything from one slow command center. Each arm is gripping, tasting, and adjusting on its own, all at the same moment, all reacting to the shark's struggles instantly. The shark is fighting one animal, but it is really fighting 8 half-independent hunters working as a team. There is no single weak point to attack, no one brain to outsmart. The intelligence is everywhere. Scientists have proven this distributed thinking with careful tests. In one study, they watched an octopus guide a single arm through a maze to reach food, showing the arm and the brain working together but each doing part of the job. New research keeps finding more structure inside the arm nerves than anyone expected, with the nerve cord broken into repeating sections, each one running its own stretch of arm. We are still uncovering just how this strange mind is wired. Think about how alien that is. Your sense of self lives in one place, behind your eyes. An octopus may have a sense of self that is spread out, shared between a head and 8 arms that each have a say. Some scientists wonder if each arm has its own kind of opinion. It is a mind built on a plan we can barely imagine, and this distributed mind leads to one of the most disturbing facts about octopuses. Because the arms can think on their own, they can keep working even after they're cut off from the body. A severed octopus arm can still hunt. Cut the arm off an octopus and it does not simply go limp. It keeps moving, it keeps reaching, it keeps hunting with no body attached. This sounds like something out of a nightmare, but scientists have watched it happen many times. A detached octopus arm can keep reacting for a while after it's separated from the rest of the animal. Pinch it, and it pulls away. Put food near it, and it can reach toward it and even try to pass it along, as if delivering a meal to a mouth that is no longer there. The arm behaves like it still has a job to do, because in a way, it does. The reason goes straight back to the 9 brains. Remember that most of the octopus's nerve cells live in its arms, not its head. Each arm carries enough thinking power to handle its own movements without orders from the central brain. So when an arm is cut off, it loses the boss but keeps the worker. The local circuits inside the arm can still turn a touch into a movement. The arm is running on its own built-in controls. To be clear and honest, the arm is not truly thinking like a separate living animal. It is not planning or feeling in any deep way once it is detached. It is running simple, powerful reflexes that were already wired into it. A living octopus is far more than the sum of its arms. Its real intelligence comes from the head, and the arms working together, sharing control. Scientists are careful to make that point. The arm acts, the whole animal decides. Still, the fact that an arm can act at all without a body is staggering. Imagine if your hand could be removed and still grab a sandwich and lift it toward where your mouth used to be. That is the level of independence built into each octopus limb. It tells you just how much real machinery is packed into those arms. Now think about what this means for the octopus's survival. If a shark or another predator bites off an arm in a fight, the octopus does not just lose a limb and bleed out helplessly. That arm can keep wriggling and twisting on its own, drawing the predator's attention while the rest of the octopus escapes. The lost arm becomes a living distraction. a piece of the animal that keeps fighting even as the main body slips away into the dark. And here is the kindest twist of all. The octopus can simply grow the arm back. We will return to that healing power later, because it changes how brave this animal can afford to be in a fight. For scientists, the thinking arm is a doorway into one of the deepest questions in biology. Where does an octopus's mind actually live? In your body, the answer is clear. It lives in your brain. In an octopus, the answer is blurry. The mind seems to be smeared across the head and the arms, shared between many parts that can each act alone. It is a different answer to the question of what a mind even is. That blurry, spread-out mind keeps surprising us. Because the arms do not only move on their own, they can also sense the world in ways your limbs never could. Each arm can taste. And stranger still, the octopus's whole skin may be able to sense light, almost as if it can see without using its eyes. Close your eyes, and you go blind. An octopus may not have that problem, because its skin itself can sense light. This is one of the strangest discoveries scientists have made about these animals. The octopus has eyes, good ones, but its skin also appears to react to light on its own. Buried in its skin are the same kinds of light-sensing pieces that normally live inside an eye. That means the octopus's whole body might be able to feel where light and shadow fall, even with its eyes shut or pointed the other way. In a loose sense, the octopus can sense light with its entire surface. Why would an animal need skin that senses light? Think back to the disappearing act. The octopus matches the colour and brightness of whatever it sits on, even though it is colourblind and cannot see colour the normal way. Skin that can sense light might help solve that puzzle. The skin could feel the brightness around it and help the body match its surroundings, like a chameleon that checks its background using its own skin instead of just its eyes. Scientists are still working out exactly how this works, so part of this remains an open mystery. Picture how powerful that would be in a hunt. A shark swims overhead, and its shadow falls across the reef. An octopus tucked below might feel that shadow with its skin, sensing the change in light even without looking up. It could know a predator is passing before it ever turns to see. For an ambush hunter that lives and dies by surprise, an early warning spread across the whole body would be priceless. This skin sense fits a pattern we keep seeing in octopuses. They do not keep their abilities locked in one organ the way we do. We see with our eyes, taste with our tongue, think with our brain, and that is that. The octopus spreads its senses out across its body. It thinks with its arms. It may sense light with its skin. Its abilities are scattered everywhere, woven into the soft surface of the whole animal. It makes the octopus feel less like a single creature and more like a thinking, sensing cloak draped over the reef. Every inch of it is awake. Every inch is gathering information, feeling the water, the light, the touch of the world around it. There is no blind spot. No part that is just along for the ride. The whole body is alive with awareness. Scientists keep finding more of these surprises the closer they look. The deeper they dig into octopus biology, the more it seems that almost every part of the animal can do more than one job. The skin hides it and senses light. The arms grab and taste and think. The body is a stack of overlapping powers folded into one soft shape. For a shark, this is a frightening thing to face. It is hunting an enemy that may feel its shadow coming, that watches from a body with no clear eyes to fool, that senses the world from every point on its skin at once. How do you sneak up on something that is, in a way, looking everywhere all the time? And the skin is only one of those scattered senses. The arms hold an even more useful power for hunting. Every one of those hundreds of suckers can taste whatever it touches. The octopus tastes the shark the instant it grabs it. You taste with your tongue. The octopus tastes with every sucker on every arm. That is over 1,000 tongues, spread across its body. Each one of those suckers is not only a grip, it is also a taste sensor. When an octopus reaches out and touches something, it instantly tastes it through the skin of its suckers. It does not need to bring food up to its mouth to know what it is. The moment an arm brushes a crab, a rock, or a shark, the octopus already knows by taste exactly what it is touching. This is called tasting by touch, and it is wonderfully useful for a hunter that lives in the dark. Deep water is gloomy, and many octopuses hunt at night or inside shadowy cracks where the eyes are almost useless. So the octopus feels its way through the world with its arms, tasting as it goes. It can poke an arm deep into a crack it cannot see into, and know from taste alone whether a tasty crab is hiding there or just an empty shell. Its arms are search tools that report back flavour. Think of how that changes a hunt. The octopus does not need to see its prey clearly. It can probe a hole with one arm, taste a hidden crab, and decide to strike, all without ever laying eyes on the meal. It reads the reef like you might read words with your fingertips in the dark, except every touch comes with a flavour attached. Information pours in through its skin from 1,000 points at once. Now bring a shark into the picture. The instant an octopus wraps a shark, it is not just gripping blindly. Every sucker locked onto that shark is tasting it, feeling it, reading it. The octopus knows the texture of the skin, the shape of the body, where the gills are, where the soft spots hide, all through taste and touch. It can adjust its grip with perfect knowledge of what it holds. The shark is being read like a book the moment it is caught. Scientists have studied the special sensors inside these suckers and found they are tuned to pick up chemicals straight from surfaces, not just from the water. That is a rare and powerful tool. Most animals smell or taste things floating in the water around them. The octopus tastes by direct touch, getting clear, exact information about the very thing in its grip. It is a more precise sense, perfect for an animal that hunts by reaching and grabbing. This is yet another power spread across the octopus's body instead of locked in one place. We have seen thinking in the arms, light sensing in the skin, and now taste in the suckers. The pattern holds. The octopus is a creature that senses and decides with its whole self, every part pulling its weight. Put it all together and you start to see why this animal is such a nightmare for a shark. It hides where the shark cannot see it. It feels the shark's shadow coming. It grabs with a grip the shark cannot break, and it tastes and reads the shark from the moment of contact, adjusting its attack in real time. The octopus is not just strong, it is aware in a deep and total way. But all these scattered senses serve something bigger. They feed a mind that is genuinely clever enough to solve puzzles, remember faces, and use tools. The octopus is the smartest animal in the sea without a backbone, and its intelligence is the real reason sharks should be afraid. Strength makes an animal dangerous. Brains make it terrifying. The octopus has both. The octopus is widely called the most intelligent animal on Earth without a backbone. That is a huge claim, and scientists back it with test after test. In labs, octopuses solve mazes, finding their way to a reward by remembering the path. They open jars, unscrewing the lids with their arms to reach food trapped inside. Some have even figured out how to open childproof pill bottles, the kind designed to defeat human toddlers. A boneless sea creature beating a lock built to stump people is a humbling thing to watch. They use tools too, which is rare in the animal world. One small octopus collects empty coconut shell halves off the seafloor, carries them around tucked under its body, and snaps them together into a portable shelter when danger comes. Think about that. The octopus carries its own armour with it, sets it up when needed, and packs it away to move on. That was the first time scientists ever recorded a boneless animal using tools, and it stunned the science world. Octopuses can also recognise individual human faces. In tests, one person fed a group of octopuses every day, while another person poked at them with a bristly stick. Soon, the octopuses treated the two people very differently, calming for the feeder and spraying water or backing away from the poker. They remembered who was kind and who was not, and they held a grudge. There are stories of an aquarium octopus that disliked one worker so much it squirted a jet of water at her every single time she walked past its tank. Now think about what intelligence means in a fight with a shark. A shark is a powerful animal, but it hunts mostly on instinct, doing what its kind has always done. The octopus can do something more dangerous. It can think, it can watch, plan, and adapt. It can notice that sharks come from a certain direction, learn the best spot to hide, and set a better ambush next time. It treats hunting like a problem to be solved, and it gets better at solving it. This is the deepest reason sharks should fear the octopus. A shark can be predicted. The octopus cannot. It changes its plan. It learns from what works and what fails. It can try something a shark has never seen before, because the octopus is inventing as it goes. Facing it is like facing an enemy that studies you and rewrites the rules in the middle of the fight. Scientists point out that the octopus brain is not only big for its body, it is also richly folded and complex, with special centers for sight and for memory. This is an animal built to learn, and it learns fast because its life is short and it has no parents to teach it. Almost everything it knows, it works out on its own. There is something almost unsettling about all this cleverness in a creature so alien. We are used to smart animals being a bit like us. Dogs, dolphins, apes. The octopus is brilliant and yet completely unlike us. A sharp mind looking out from a soft, shapeless body in the cold dark. And a mind that clever does not just hunt better, it escapes better too. Octopus intelligence has produced some of the greatest escape stories in the animal world, and they reveal a creature that plans its freedom one careful step at a time. A strong animal can break out of a cage. A smart animal can plan its way out. The octopus does the second, and it is unsettling to watch. Aquariums around the world have learned the hard way that an octopus is almost impossible to keep locked up. Give it a tank with the smallest gap, and one night you will arrive to find it empty. Octopuses climb out of their tanks, slither across floors and slip into drains. Some have been caught sneaking from their own tank into a neighbouring tank to eat the fish inside, then climbing back home before morning, hiding the crime. Keepers found fish missing for ages before they realised their octopus was a nighttime burglar. The most famous escape belongs to an octopus named Inky. He lived at an aquarium in New Zealand. One night, Inky found a small gap at the top of his tank. He squeezed out, climbed down to the floor and crossed the room. Then he found a narrow drain pipe that led all the way to the open sea. Inky poured his entire body down that pipe and escaped back into the ocean. The staff arrived to an empty tank and a faint wet trail leading to the drain. Inky was gone, free, swimming somewhere out in the wild. That story is true, and it shows something deeper than a slippery body. Escaping like that takes planning. The octopus had to notice the gap, leave the safety of the water, cross dry ground where it could not breathe well, find the right pipe out of all the wrong ones, and commit to the squeeze. That is a series of smart choices, made by an animal solving a problem step by step. The flexibility is the body. The escape is the mind. Connect this back to sharks and the lesson is clear. An animal that can outthink an aquarium full of humans, with all their lids and locks and clever designs, can easily outthink a shark. If the octopus can find the one weak point in a sealed tank, it can find the one crack in the reef where a shark cannot follow. Its mind is always searching for the exit, the angle, the trick that turns a trap into a doorway. Scientists who care for octopuses now design special tanks just to hold them. With locked lids and rough edges the arms cannot grip. Even then, the octopuses keep finding new ways out. Caring for one is a constant battle of wits between the keepers and a creature that treats every barrier as a puzzle to be cracked. Usually given enough time, the octopus wins. There is something almost eerie about the patience of it. The octopus does not panic against its tank walls. It explores, tests and waits, learning the space until it spots the flaw. Then it acts. That same cool patience is what makes its hunting so deadly. It does not rush. It studies, then strikes. So the octopus is not only strong, sneaky and venomous, it is a planner, a problem solver, an escape artist that treats the whole world as a lock waiting to be picked. A shark, for all its power, is simply not playing the same game, and the octopus's mind has one more frightening edge. It does not only solve problems in the moment, it remembers, and it can even learn by watching others. That memory is what lets it set the perfect trap. A predator that forgets must learn every lesson twice. The octopus remembers, and that memory makes it deadly. We have seen that octopuses remember human faces, holding a grudge against the person who poked them and warming to the one who fed them. That same memory works in the wild. An octopus remembers which cracks in the reef are safe dens and which ones hide danger. It remembers where it found a good meal and where a predator nearly caught it. It builds a map of its world inside its mind and uses that map to survive. For a hunter, memory is a weapon. An octopus that catches prey near a certain rock will remember that spot and return to it. It learns the habits of the animals around it, including the sharks. It can figure out where a shark is likely to pass and choose the perfect place to hide and wait. Every successful ambush teaches it something it can use the next time. Slowly, quietly, it becomes a better hunter with every passing day of its short life. Then there is a power that truly stuns scientists. Octopuses appear to be able to learn by watching. In experiments, an octopus that watched another octopus open a container could then open it too, copying what it saw without slowly figuring it out by trial and error. It learned just by observing. That kind of learning is rare and advanced. It is something we expect from clever mammals and birds, not from a solitary sea creature with no backbone. What makes that especially strange is that octopuses mostly live alone. They are not social animals that grow up in groups teaching each other. They spend almost their whole lives solo, hunting and hiding by themselves. Yet they still carry the brain power to learn by watching, a skill that seems built for social animals. Scientists find this a fascinating puzzle. Why would a loner evolve such a social-style mind? The question is still open. Bring all of this back to the shark. A shark hunts on deep instinct, repeating ancient patterns its kind has used forever. The octopus does that too, but it layers something extra on top. It updates. It remembers what happened yesterday and changes its plan today. It can pick up a new trick simply by seeing it work once. The octopus is not stuck running old code. It is rewriting itself as it goes. This is what truly tips the balance. Strength can be beaten by strength. Speed can be matched by speed. But an enemy that learns is a moving target that never stops improving. Every time a shark tangles with an octopus and the octopus survives, the octopus gets a little smarter about sharks. The shark, hunting on instinct, gains far less. Scientists describe the octopus mind as flexible, curious, and quick to adapt. It explores objects for the fun of it. It plays. It seems to get bored. These are signs of a rich inner life, the kind of mind that does not just react to the world but actively studies it. That studying mind is the octopus's sharpest edge of all, so we have built the full picture now. A soft, venomous, colour-shifting, crack-pouring animal with 3 hearts, blue blood, 9 brains, and a mind that learns. It can clearly handle a small shark in a tank. But the ocean had one more shock waiting, a real wild moment that shows just how strange the bond between octopus and shark can get. Scientists caught it on camera off the coast of New Zealand, and the world could not believe its eyes. In December of 2023, a team of scientists off the coast of New Zealand saw something no one could explain. An octopus was riding a shark. The team was on a research boat in a gulf near the New Zealand coast, scanning the water for feeding sharks. They spotted a large fin cutting the surface, the fin of a mako shark, one of the fastest sharks in the entire ocean. But something looked wrong. On top of the shark's head sat a strange orange blob. At first, the scientists thought it might be a buoy, or maybe the shark was injured or tangled in fishing gear. So they did what good scientists do. They sent up a drone and dropped an underwater camera to get a closer look. What they saw left them speechless. The orange blob was a large octopus, perched right on top of the shark's head, clinging on tightly with its arms while the shark swam through open water. They had stumbled onto a sight so bizarre it earned an instant nickname, the sharktopus. What made it almost impossible to believe was where these two animals normally live. Octopuses spend their lives down on the seabed, crawling among the rocks. Mako sharks race through the open middle waters near the surface. The two creatures live in completely different worlds and would almost never meet. Yet here they were, joined together, the octopus hitching a ride on one of the speediest hunters in the sea. A Mako can blast through the water at over 40 miles an hour, so this octopus may have been in for the wildest ride of its life. The lead scientist watched the octopus work to stay balanced on the shark's head, keeping itself low and tight, its arms wrapped firmly around the shark. The team followed the strange pair for about 10 minutes. Then they had to move on, and they never saw how the story ended. To this day, no one knows what happened to the sharktopus after the cameras turned away. So what was really going on? The honest answer is that scientists are not sure. It remains a true mystery. But there is a leading idea, and it fits everything we have learned about octopuses. Many scientists think the octopus was not making friends with the shark at all. It was protecting itself. Remember, an octopus on the open seabed is in danger. A Mako shark could easily eat one. So when this octopus found itself near a hungry shark, it may have used its only weapon that mattered in that moment. It grabbed on. By clinging to the one place the shark could never reach, the top of its own head, the octopus turned its enemy into a shield. The shark could not bite what was riding it. The octopus held on and hoped to slip away unnoticed later. One marine biologist put it simply, the octopus is a very bright animal, so where is the safest place to be? Right on top of the thing that wants to eat you, where its jaws cannot reach. If that is true, then the sharktopus is the perfect symbol of this whole story. A soft, clever animal facing a powerful shark, and instead of panicking, it makes a bold, smart choice. It clings. That choice, cling instead of flee, is at the heart of how octopuses survive among sharks. And there is real science behind why it works so well. When a soft animal meets a toothy one, you would expect it to flee. The octopus often does the opposite. It grabs on and holds tight. This sounds backwards. If a shark wants to eat you, why would you swim toward it and cling to its body? But for an octopus, clinging can be the smartest move in the sea, and it comes down to one simple truth. A shark's danger is its mouth, its jaws, its teeth, its bite. If the octopus can get to a spot the mouth cannot reach, the shark suddenly cannot hurt it at all. The safest place near a shark is on the shark. In the blind spots, its own jaws can never bend back to bite. The top of the head, the back, the base of the fins. From those spots, the octopus rides along, completely out of reach of the one weapon that matters. Octopus experts have a playful name for this strategy. They call it cling first, ask questions later. When you're a soft genius in a sea full of biting things, you grab hold and figure out the rest afterward. And the octopus is perfectly built to cling. Think back to those 1,500 suckers, each one able to lock onto almost any surface, even slick shark skin. The octopus can form a grip so tight that the thrashing, twisting, speeding shark cannot shake it off. The same suckers that drown a small shark in a tank can anchor the octopus safely onto a big shark it cannot beat. The grip works both ways, as a weapon and as a seatbelt. This is why the sharktopus makes so much sense once you understand octopuses. The octopus on that Mako's head was using its single best survival tool. It held on to the most dangerous animal around, in the one place that animal could not strike back, and it waited for its chance. It turned a predator into a hiding spot. There is a cold brilliance in that move that pure instinct alone could not manage. The cling strategy shows the deepest truth about how octopuses face sharks. They do not try to win by being stronger or faster. They win by being smarter about position, about angles, about where the danger actually is. A shark is only deadly from the front, where its mouth is. The octopus simply refuses to be in front of the mouth. It goes where the teeth cannot follow and stays there. Scientists watching octopuses tangle with sharks and other predators see this again and again. The octopus does not waste energy in a panic. It calculates. It grabs the gills to kill, or it grabs the blind spots to survive, depending on what the moment calls for. The same grip, used two different ways, for attack or defense, chosen by a quick and clever mind. Of course, clinging does not always save the octopus. Sometimes the shark wins in the end. The scientists who filmed the Sharktopus admitted that the octopus might still have become a meal once they looked away. The ocean does not promise happy endings, but the strategy works often enough to be worth the gamble, and it is a far better bet than trying to outrun a mako. That hunting and survival happens out in the wild, far from any tank. And the wild holds the strongest proof of all that octopuses really do hunt sharks, written right outside their hidden front doors. A staged aquarium video can be doubted, but the proof scientists found in the open ocean cannot be argued with. To understand it, you have to know how an octopus lives. The giant Pacific octopus makes its home in a den, a crack or hole in the rocks just big enough for its beak to fit through. It crawls inside, often pulling rocks and shells around the entrance, and uses the den as a base. From there it goes out to hunt, drags its catch back home, and eats in private safety where bigger predators cannot reach it. And every octopus den has a telltale sign outside it, a pile of leftovers. After the octopus finishes a meal, it shoves the empty shells, the cracked crab pieces, and the picked clean remains out the front door. Over time, a small trash heap builds up just outside the den. Scientists have a name for this pile. They call it a midden, and it is like a record of everything the octopus has been eating. When researchers searched these wild dens and dug through the middens, they made a chilling find. Mixed in among the crab shells and clam pieces were the remains of dogfish sharks. Real sharks, eaten and discarded, lying in the trash pile outside a wild octopus's home, far from any aquarium or any human hand. The octopus had caught those sharks itself, out in the open sea, hauled them home, eaten them, and tossed the leftovers out the door. This is the evidence that settles the whole question. People can argue that the famous tank video was helped along by divers nudging the sharks. Fine. But no one nudged anything into these wild middens. These octopuses hunted sharks on their own, in their natural home, with no help and no audience. The proof was sitting in the rocks the whole time, waiting for someone to look. It tells us that hunting sharks is a normal part of this animal's life. The midden does not show one strange lucky kill. It shows a pattern, leftovers piling up over time, meaning the octopus does this again and again. For the giant Pacific octopus, a small shark is simply food, the same as a crab or a fish. It is on the menu, and the octopus knows how to catch it. Think about what that means for the balance of life in those cold waters. We picture sharks as the rulers of the sea, the top hunters that nothing dares touch. But down in the rocky reefs of the Pacific, a boneless animal flips that order. The hunter becomes the hunted. The shark that frightens seals and fish can end up as scraps outside an octopus's door. Scientists treat these midden finds as strong, solid evidence, the kind gathered straight from nature rather than staged in a tank. It is the difference between a story and a fact. The story is the dramatic video. The fact is the pile of shark bones in the rocks. And the fact is even more impressive than the story, because it happened when no human could stage it. So the octopus truly is a shark hunter, confirmed by the trash outside its own home. But nature loves balance, and the ocean is never that simple. For all its power, the octopus is not the final ruler of the deep. There is one shark that turns the tables right back, and it keeps the whole story honest. The octopus may terrify most sharks, but the ocean keeps the scales even, and one shark turns the hunter back into the hunted. Up to now, we have watched the octopus win. It drowns small sharks, hauls them home, and rules its rocky corner of the sea. But it would be wrong to call the octopus unbeatable. nature does not crown a single champion. Out in the cold, deep water lives a giant that eats the giant Pacific octopus on a regular basis. It is called the Pacific sleeper shark. The sleeper shark is a different beast entirely from the small dogfish the octopus drowns. It is huge, slow, and built for the deep, dark, freezing water where it cruises like a silent submarine. It can grow far larger than the octopus, and scientists have confirmed it as a true predator of the giant Pacific octopus. When the octopus meets this shark, the usual tricks may not be enough. The grip, the ink, the camouflage, all of it can fail against a hunter this big and this patient. This matters for our story, and it matters a lot. It would be easy to tell you the octopus always wins, that it is the unstoppable terror of the sea. That would be a better story, but a false one, and the truth is more interesting anyway. The octopus is a fearsome hunter of small and medium sharks. It is also prey for the larger sharks and for seals, sea otters, and even sperm whales. It sits in the middle of the food web, both hunter and hunted depending on who it meets. That balance is exactly why the ocean works. If any one animal could beat everything, the whole system would collapse. Instead, each creature is strong against some and weak against others. The octopus dominates the dogfish but bows to the sleeper shark. The dogfish that fears the octopus would happily eat a smaller one in open water. Round and round it goes, every link in the chain both eating and being eaten. So when we say octopuses terrify sharks, we mean it in a careful way. They terrify the many sharks that are close to their own size or smaller, the ones that would expect an easy meal and instead meet a nightmare. A 3-foot dogfish has every reason to fear a giant Pacific octopus. A massive sleeper shark does not. The fear runs along the lines of size and strength, the way it always does in the wild. This honesty makes the octopus more impressive, not less. It is not a magic monster that wins every fight. It is a real animal that, through cleverness and strange weapons, punches far above its weight. It beats predators that should, by all rights, be eating it. That is a far greater achievement than simply being the biggest thing around. The shark wins by being huge. The octopus wins by being smart, and smart is rarer. Scientists who study these cold waters map out these tangled relationships carefully, tracking who eats whom. The picture they paint is a web, not a ladder, and the octopus sits in a fascinating spot in that web, feared by many, hunted by a few. So the octopus is powerful, but not invincible. It survives by being faster to react, quicker to think, and harder to catch than almost anything its size. And one of its survival tricks is so extreme it sounds impossible. When the octopus does need speed, it does not swim. It blasts off like a rocket. The octopus usually crawls, but when it needs to move fast, it fires itself through the water like a living rocket. We learned earlier that the octopus prefers to crawl because its main heart stops when it swims hard. So most of the time it creeps slowly along the bottom, patient and quiet. But the octopus has a hidden burst of speed for emergencies, and it works in a way no fish can copy. It does not flap fins or beat a tail. It uses jet propulsion, the same basic idea that launches a rocket into the sky. Here is how it works. The octopus pulls water into a roomy space inside its body. Then it squeezes that space hard and blasts the water out through a narrow tube called a siphon. The water shoots out one way, and the octopus rockets off the other way, just like air rushing out of a balloon sends the balloon flying across a room. By aiming its siphon, the octopus can point itself in any direction and launch. This jet is the octopus's secret weapon for 2 key moments. The first is escape. When a shark lunges and the octopus needs to be somewhere else right now, it fires its jet and blasts away in a sudden burst, often into a crack the shark cannot follow. Pair that jet with a cloud of ink, fire the smoke bomb and rocket off behind it, and the octopus can vanish in the blink of an eye, leaving a confused shark snapping at darkness. The second moment is the attack. Remember the ambush in that Seattle tank, where the octopus exploded out of its corner faster than the eye could follow. That sudden burst was the jet at work. The octopus sits still, hidden and patient, until the prey drifts into range. Then it fires its jet to close the gap in an instant, crossing the distance before the shark can react, and lands on it with all 8 arms at once. The slow, crawling animal becomes a sudden missile for 1 explosive second. That combination is what makes the octopus so deadly in the ambush. It has the patience to wait, hidden as a rock for as long as it takes, and it has the explosive speed to strike the moment the chance appears. Patience and power, packed into the same soft body, switched on and off as needed. A shark expecting a slow, easy target meets a creature that can fire across the water like a spear. Scientists describe this jet as a fast, powerful thrust that can shoot the octopus through the water at surprising speed for short bursts. The animal cannot keep it up for long because of those hearts cutting out, but it does not need to. An ambush only needs 1 burst, 1 launch, 1 perfect strike. Then the grip takes over and the fight is nearly done. There is a neat lesson hidden in the octopus's 2 speeds. Crawl when you can, rocket when you must. It saves its energy and its strange heart for the moments that truly matter, and it spends that energy in 1 devastating burst. It is a master of timing, knowing exactly when to be still and when to explode into motion. And here is one more reason the octopus can fight so boldly. It can afford to lose a piece of itself in battle. Because unlike a shark, the octopus can grow back what it loses. If a shark bites off an arm, the octopus simply makes a new one. In a fight, losing a limb is usually a disaster. For an octopus, it is a minor setback. It just grows the limb back. Picture a battle between an octopus and a shark. The shark snaps and tears, and it manages to bite off one of the octopus's arms. For most animals, that would be a crippling, maybe deadly wound. For the octopus, it is a problem that fixes itself. Over the following weeks, the octopus slowly regrows the missing arm, complete with all its muscle, its nerves, and its many suckers. In time, the new arm works just like the old one, as if the loss never happened. This power changes everything about how brave the octopus can be. Think about it. If you knew that any injury you took in a fight would simply heal away, you would fight very differently. You would take risks. You would grab onto dangerous things. You would hold on even when it cost you, knowing the cost was temporary. The octopus lives with exactly that freedom. Its body is not precious and fragile. It is repairable. Connect this back to the sharktopus and the cling strategy. An octopus grabbing onto a shark is taking a risk. The shark might bite. But if the worst happens and the octopus loses an arm, it still has 7 more, and it will grow the 8th back later. The gamble is not as scary as it looks, because the octopus is playing with a body that heals in ways a shark's body never could. A shark that loses a fin or an eye keeps that wound for life. The octopus erases its wounds. It ties back to the thinking arms too. Remember how a severed octopus arm keeps wriggling on its own? Now we see the full picture. If a predator bites off an arm, that arm keeps moving as a distraction, drawing the enemy's attention, while the octopus jets away to safety. Later, in the calm of its den, the octopus simply regrows the lost limb. The arm it sacrificed becomes both a decoy and a wound that heals. It is a defense most animals could only dream of. Scientists study this regrowing power closely, because healing a complex limb with working nerves and muscle is something humans cannot do. We can heal a cut, but we cannot grow back a whole hand. The octopus can grow back a whole arm, packed with thousands of nerve cells and hundreds of suckers, and have it work perfectly. Researchers hope that one day, understanding how the octopus does this might help us heal human injuries better. The octopus may hold lessons our doctors are still trying to read. This is one more way the octopus breaks the rules that bind most animals. It has no bones, yet it overpowers sharks. It has weak blood, yet it thrives in the cold. And it can lose pieces of itself in battle, yet walk away whole again days later. Each rule it breaks makes it tougher, stranger, and harder to kill. So the octopus is a hunter that can afford to be daring, a fighter whose wounds are temporary, an animal built to take risks and recover from them. Few creatures in the sea are so hard to truly defeat, and this incredible animal did not appear yesterday. The octopus has been perfecting its strange powers for an almost unimaginable stretch of time, longer than you can easily picture. It was here before the dinosaurs. Everything we have seen, the grip, the brain, the ink, the camouflage, was not invented overnight. The octopus has been refining it for an almost unthinkable length of time. The ancestors of the octopus are ancient beyond easy imagining. Scientists have found fossils of early octopus relatives that lived around 330 million years ago. Let that number sink in slowly. That is long before the first dinosaurs ever walked the earth. While the land was still ruled by small, simple creatures, the ancestors of the octopus were already swimming the seas, already taking on the soft, many-armed shape we know today. Think about the sheer depth of that time. Dinosaurs rose up, ruled the planet for ages, and then vanished in a great extinction. And the octopus family was already old before the dinosaurs even began, and it is still here now, long after they turned to bone and stone. Whole worlds of animals have come and gone while the octopus quietly carried on, hunting in the dark, perfecting its tricks across more years than the human mind can truly hold. One ancient fossil relative had 10 arms instead of the 8 modern octopuses carry, a clue to how the body slowly changed over countless ages. Bit by bit across these vast stretches of time, the octopus shed what it did not need and sharpened what worked. The result is the animal we have been following, a creature polished by a length of time so great it makes human history look like a single breath. This deep history explains why the octopus is so good at what it does. Its weapons are not new experiments. They are ancient, tested, and refined over more years than there are grains of sand on a beach. The grip that drowns sharks, the skin that vanishes, the mind that learns, all of it has been improving for a span of time that began before flowers bloomed, before birds flew, before the dinosaurs took their first steps. The octopus is a master because it has had longer to practice than almost any hunter alive. It also tells us something humbling about our place in the story. We think of ourselves as the clever ones, the rulers of the planet. But we are brand new here. Humans have existed for the tiniest sliver of time compared to the octopus line. When you look into an octopus's strange eye, you are looking at the product of hundreds of millions of years of survival, a creature that was solving the problem of staying alive in the sea before our kind was even a distant possibility. Scientists piece this ancient story together from rare fossils, since a soft, boneless animal almost never leaves a fossil behind. Each new find is precious, a tiny window into the deep past, and each one confirms the same thing. The octopus is incredibly, almost impossibly old, a survivor from a world we can barely picture. So when a shark meets a giant octopus, it is not facing a clever newcomer. It is facing the heir to one of the oldest and most successful designs the ocean has ever produced. The shark is ancient too, but the octopus has been quietly winning its own strange game for just as long. And the strangest part of that game is happening inside the octopus right now, in this very moment. Because this animal can do something with its own body that sounds like pure science fiction. It can rewrite its own genetic instructions on the fly. We have called the octopus alien more than once. Here is the discovery that makes that word feel almost literal. To understand it, start with you. Every living thing carries a set of instructions inside its cells, a kind of master code that tells the body how to build itself and how to work. In almost all animals, including you, that code is fixed. The instructions get copied out and followed faithfully, like a recipe that never changes. The body builds what the code says, exactly as written. That is how life normally works. The octopus breaks this rule too. It can edit its own instructions on the fly, changing the messages its cells follow without changing the master code itself. Scientists discovered that octopuses do this constantly, far more than almost any other animal. They tweak and rewrite the working copies of their instructions, adjusting how their own bodies and brains run, almost in real time. It is as if the octopus can edit its own recipe in the middle of cooking, tasting as it goes and changing the dish on the spot. One of the biggest reasons it does this seems to be the cold. Octopuses often live in chilly water, and cold can mess up how a body works. By editing its instructions, the octopus appears to fine-tune its nervous system to keep working smoothly even as the temperature changes around it. The animal is constantly adjusting itself to fit its world, rewriting its own settings to stay sharp in the cold dark. Most animals are stuck with the body their code gives them. The octopus keeps tuning it. Scientists believe much of this self-editing happens in the octopus's nervous system, the very place its remarkable intelligence comes from. That hints at something amazing. The octopus's strange, flexible mind may be powered in part by this strange, flexible code. The same trick that helps it survive the cold may also help build the rich, curious, problem-solving brain we have been marvelling at this whole time. The alien mind runs on alien rules. This is part of why scientists say that if you wanted to design a creature from another planet, you would end up with something like an octopus. It thinks with its arms, it sees with its skin, it changes colour in a heartbeat, pores through cracks, grows back limbs, and rewrites its own inner instructions as it lives. Almost nothing about it follows the path the rest of animal life took. It is a different answer to the question of how to build a living thing, and it grew up right here in our own oceans, hidden in the deep. There is a strange beauty in that. We have spent ages searching the stars for alien life, dreaming of creatures unlike anything we know, and the whole time, one of the most alien minds imaginable has been living quietly beneath the waves, drowning sharks and solving puzzles, editing its own code in the cold and the dark. We didn't have to leave Earth to find a truly alien intelligence. We only had to look down into the sea. This rewriting power is still being studied, and scientists are uncovering more about it all the time. It stands as one of the deepest mysteries of how this animal works. But for all its ancient power and alien gifts, the octopus carries a heartbreaking secret. This brilliant, near-immortal seeming design lives for only a few short years, and then it is gone. You would expect a creature this powerful and this ancient to live a long time. The truth is the opposite, and it is the saddest twist in the whole story. For all its strength, intelligence, and deep history, the individual octopus lives an astonishingly short life. The giant Pacific octopus, the car-wide shark killer we have followed, usually lives only a few years. It hatches from an egg smaller than a grain of rice, grows at a breathtaking speed into a massive hunter, rules its patch of reef for a brief time, and then it dies. The most magnificent octopus burns through its entire existence in the blink of an eye by nature's clock. The ending is built right into the animal, and it centres on having young. Octopuses breed only once in their whole lives. After mating, the male's body begins to fail, and he dies not long after. The female has a harder road still. She lays her eggs, often many thousands of them, in a hidden den, and then she guards them with everything she has. She cleans them, fans fresh water over them, and protects them from anything that comes near. And while she does this, she stops eating completely. For weeks, or even months, the mother octopus does not leave her eggs and does not feed. She slowly starves herself, pouring all her remaining strength into keeping her young alive. By the time the eggs finally hatch, and the tiny octopuses drift away into the sea, the mother is spent, dying, or already dead. She gives her entire body for a generation she will never see grow up. It is one of the most devoted and most tragic acts of parenting in the animal world. This changes how we see everything that came before. All that power, all that intelligence, the grip that drowns sharks, the mind that learns, the body that heals and hides and rewrites itself. The octopus carries all of it for only a few short years, and it almost never gets to grow old. It does not pass its hard-won knowledge to its children, because it dies before they hatch. Every octopus must learn the world fresh. alone, in a life that ends almost as soon as it truly begins. There is something deeply moving in that. The octopus is brilliant, but its brilliance is fleeting. It is strong, but its strength fades fast. Nature gave this animal an extraordinary mind and then gave it almost no time to use it. Each octopus is a bright, short-lived flame, blazing with ability and then gone, replaced by tiny strangers who must figure it all out again from nothing. Scientists have even found that the octopus's death is driven by its own body, by signals that switch on after breeding and shut the animal down. The end is not an accident or bad luck. It is part of the design, as built in as the 3 hearts and the blue blood. The octopus is in a way programmed to fade once its young are on the way, so the terror of the sharks, the alien genius of the deep, lives and dies in a handful of years, alone, having given everything for a future it will never witness. Which brings us at last to the real meaning behind this whole story. Why this strange, short-lived animal should change the way we see the ocean, and maybe the way we see ourselves. We began with sharks vanishing from a sealed tank in Seattle, and one quiet creature watching from the corner. Now you know who that creature really was, and what it can truly do. We have followed the octopus through everything. Its grip of 1,500 suckers, its trick of drowning a shark with a patient hug, its hidden beak, its venom, its tiny golf ball cousin that could kill a room of people, its size wide as a car and its skin that vanishes in a heartbeat, its 3 hearts, its blue blood, its 9 brains, and the arms that taste and think on their own, its ink bombs and rocket jets, its escapes and its ancient history, its power to grow back what it loses and rewrite its own inner code. And here is the truth that all of it points to. When we say giant octopuses terrify sharks, the real story is not about terror at all. It is about a different kind of power. The shark rules by force, by teeth and speed and size. The octopus rules by mind, by patience, cleverness, and the ability to become almost anything it needs to be. 2 opposite paths to survival, meeting in the cold dark and the clever one holding its own against the strong one. That should change how you see the ocean. We grow up believing the shark sits at the top, the ultimate hunter, the thing all others fear. But the sea is far stranger and richer than that simple picture. Down in the rocky reefs, a soft, boneless animal with an alien mind flips the order, hunting the hunters, proving that brains can beat brawn even in a world built on tooth and claw. The ocean has a hidden mind, and we're only beginning to understand it. It should change how you see intelligence too. For so long, humans assumed that real thinking belonged to animals like us, with backbones and faces we recognize. The octopus shatters that idea. It is brilliant in a way that grew up completely separate from us. A mind built on a different plan, in a different body, following different rules. It shows that intelligence is not one single thing that only we and our close cousins possess. It can arise more than once, in shapes we would never expect, in the last place we thought to look. And maybe that is the deepest reason this animal matters to you. The octopus is a reminder of how much we still do not know about our own planet. We have mapped the stars and dreamed of alien life among them, while a creature as strange as any imagined alien has been living right beneath our boats the whole time, thinking thoughts we cannot read in an ocean we have barely explored. The greatest mysteries are not always far away. Some of them are swimming just below the surface watching us back. The octopus lives a short, fierce, lonely life and then is gone, taking its secrets with it. But while it lives, it is one of the most extraordinary beings on Earth, a soft genius in a world of teeth, a shapeshifter, an escape artist, a shark's quiet nightmare hiding in the rocks. So the next time you picture the ocean's true rulers, do not only think of the shark's grinning jaws, remember the 8 silent arms in the shadows and the ancient alien mind that drives them. The sea belongs to them too, and they were here long, long before us.